Today I want to talk about the 3 days in prison for the sons of Jacob. And this is just 18, 19, and 20 is the verses I want to look at today in Genesis 42. So the third day Joseph said to them, I'm a God-fearing man. Now that's an interesting statement there. Not that he fears the gods, because Egypt would have been a polytheistic culture. They would have worshipped many gods. So here he's referencing the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So remember that even at this time, that the family of Jacob weren't the only people in the world that were worshiping God. You can go back to Abraham and see Melchizedek, who was a priest of the Most High God. So the same God that Abraham was worshiping. So the worship of the God was not limited just to the family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There were others that were worshiping God, but Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were the family of promise. They were the ones that the Israelites would come through, and ultimately that the Messiah would come through. They were the chosen people of God. So it would have been a little unusual to come across somebody that worshiped God, but here they've found Joseph, and Joseph still has not revealed himself to them. He says, if you do as I say, you will live. If you really are honest men, choose one of your brothers to remain in prison. The rest of you may go home with grain for your starving families. But you must bring your youngest brother back to me. This will prove that you are telling the truth, and you will not die. To this they agreed. So he lets them sit in there for 3 days. And after 3 days, they were pretty much willing to do whatever Joseph asked them to do. They were humble. Remember, I think these are some proud guys. You know, they're important men in their family, and they feel powerful sometimes. I mean, Jacob was a very wealthy and influential and powerful man. You know, we don't necessarily always think about this, but Jacob was really, really wealthy at this time, and this was flowing down to these children as well. And he begins to talk to them. He says, if you are honest men. They had to prove they were not spies. They had to prove they were honest. And we know that these brothers have not always been good with honesty. But they had to bring this brother back. Now, they agreed to this, but they did so only because they didn't think they had any other options. Because here's the problem. They weren't sure that Jacob would ever let Benjamin out of his sight. There's a reason Benjamin wasn't there to begin with. And we talked about that early on in this chapter. But they really don't have a choice. So God has kind of backed them into a corner. God has pushed them to the place that they are humble now. They have been thrown in jail, and they've got to agree to whatever Joseph wants. The dreams have come to pass, and God is about to really work in their hearts. We'll talk about that tomorrow.